This is our PowerPoint on linear and quadratic regression. First off, let's start on what it is. Regression is a correlation coefficient that shows the relation between two variables. The coefficient can be any number from -1 to 1. If the number is closer to -1, there is a negative correlation. If the number is closer to 1, there is a positive correlation. If the number is closer to 0, there is no correlation. Linear regressions are used with linear equations and quadratic regressions are used with quadratic equations. You can tell whether your data uses a linear or quadratic equation by making a simple scatter plot of your data. If the data forms a line, it uses a linear equation. If the data forms a curve, it uses a quadratic equation. If there is no correlation at all between any of your data points, there is no equation that can be used. Okay, so now let's go through an example. We used the variable x as the number of roadside stands and y as the number of apples that were sold. And you can see the data on the table. And you put this in the calculator by putting the x values in L1 and the y values in L2. You can find these lists by pressing stat on your calculator, then pressing enter where it says edit. After inserting your data values, press second, then stat plot, and turn plot 1 on. Then press graph. Go to zoom and press 9. A scatter plot should appear with your data. To figure out whether your data uses linear or quadratic regression, look at the scatter plot of your data. The data in the previous example uses linear regression because the line of best fit shows the points going in a straight line. The line of best fit shows a line that most of the data follows. To find the line of best fit, find a line that goes through the most of data points. If there are points that don't fit on the line, they should be very close to the line or for there to be a correlation. Since the data in the example forms a line that goes from the bottom left to the top right, there is a positive correlation, which means that your correlation coefficient will also be positive. Since the previous example uses linear regression, to find the correlation coefficient, which is R, press stat, go to calc, and press 4. Make sure where it says X list, it says L1, and where it says Y list, it says L2. Then press enter until a screen that says line reg comes up. The R value for this data is about 0.998. This means there is a positive correlation between the number of roadside stands and the number of apples sold. So now you can try this one on your own. We put a word problem with it, like as if it was on a test. A local Walgreens started giving free flu shots to see if it would affect how many people would get the flu and come in to receive flu medicine. They recorded the results over 5 weeks, and there's your data table. And we're asking what is the correlation between the two variables. So here's the answer. R equals -0.993. In order to find the correlation coefficient, which is R, enter your data into L1 and L2 and press graph to see the scatter plot. From the scatter plot, it can be determined that the data will have a negative correlation since the data on the graph comes from the top left to the bottom right. Press stat again, go to calc, and press 4. Make sure X list is L1 and Y list is L2. Press enter until you get to the line reg screen. It will say on there that R is equal to around -0.993.